We're doing some delicious smoked shotgun shells today. Let's take a look at how they're doing. Uh-oh! Those are the wrong shotgun shells. Actually, folks, these are the real shotgun shells we'll be making on today's Smoky Day Presents. And let me tell you, they are filled with delicious smoky flavor. And we'll even be making the stuffing mix that's inside from scratch, so stay tuned. One of the two cheeses we'll be using today is ricotta. Now, ricotta is a liquid or goopy type of cheese in that it has no solid form at room temperature. So in order to smoke it, we're going to put it in this glass pan and put a bit of heavy cheesecloth over the top. We will then set this in a pan full of ice inside the smoker to keep the cheese very cold while the smoking process is performed. And the other cheese we will use is some of our smoked feta from my other video where we made a chili baked feta cheese. Be sure to check that out. See the link in the description and the thumbnail shown here. Well, I think we need to get these cheeses out into the smoker. And then we'll come back in and get our meats prepped for the sausage. Now, you didn't think I was going to use store-bought sausage, did you? No. What I have here is a 50-50 mix of pork and beef, plus some beef fat and pork belly fat that has all been chopped into half-inch cubes and cooled to below 35 degrees. In fact, this is a bit too cool, I can see here at 29 degrees, but that's okay. It'll still grind just fine. Now, I have 10 pounds of meat here, and we're only going to be using about 2.5 to 3 for our stuffing. And the rest I'll save as coarse ground for another project on down the line. Once the meat's all coarsely ground, I'm going to regrind the 3 pounds that we're going to use in our stuffing on a much finer grind, as you can see I'm doing here. And then we can mix in our spices. You can go online and get this great shirt. You can fascinate a woman with a piece of cheese, and other great shirts that I'm selling, such as, if you're gonna cut the cheese, just make sure it's Smoky Dave's. I just wanted to say I appreciate each and every one of you, and if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and leaving a comment down below. I read every comment. And until next time, don't forget, it's no joke. Everything's better with smoke. So we've double ground our beef and pork that's been smoked. And now we're going to mix in our ingredients. And I'm going to do it by hand. I know with the andouille we used the mixer again, but we're going to do this by hand. And part of the reason is, and you may have noticed, there seems to be a lot of more spice than you would normally use for this much sausage. But you got to remember, for our stuffed shells, we're going to be adding some smoked cheese. We're going to be adding our smoked ricotta. We're also going to be adding our smoked feta. So you're going to have ricotta and feta cheese in here. And we won't need to spice that at all. Normally, if you were going to just do, say, a stuffed manicotti, you would, of course, put all your oregano and thyme and things like that in there. There's going to be enough spice in this sausage to spice our cheese. And so we'll just be able to chunk that cheese up and mix it in with this and make our final mix. And then we'll use the sausage stuffing apparatus to stuff our manicotti rather than doing it by hand. Well, here's our ricotta we smoked, and here's our feta we smoked as well. These are the cheeses we're going to add to our sausage mixture to make our shotgun shell filling. Now I'm just going to crumble up some of this feta and scoop in some of the ricotta And once again, just mix it up by hand. And that'll be just fine, and we'll be ready to put it into the sausage stuffer. Now, I know many people like to use the ribbed, thicker manicotti that is cut on a bias, rather than these more traditional Italian manicottis. But the truth is, these work a little better because there isn't this pointy end that's going to be sticking out and not getting moist and possibly burning. And these are a little bit thinner, so the pasta will get softer, I believe. There we go. I'm just going to put my finger in the one end to stop it from coming out that end. And make sure that the manicotti is full. And there it is. Go to the next one. I also tried stuffing some smaller rigatoni tubes to make mini appetizers, just as an experiment to see if they would be moist and delicious enough. Now, we must wrap these shotgun shells, and I guess we'll call these 12 gauge and 20 gauge short. Anyway, we'll wrap these with bacon and make sure that all of the surface area of the pasta is covered as best as we can. Place them in a covered dish, and then put them in the refrigerator overnight so that the pasta can get nice and soft. And we're done. So I'll just place these into a plastic snap lid container and throw them in the fridge overnight. Now, I want to use this nice mix of hickory and applewood today to smoke these shells while they cook on the grill. But how am I going to do that? Well, I already have a smoke generator, so all I have to do is build a connector on my grill and pipe the smoke through the food-grade vinyl tube into my grill. Problem solved. I'll show you how I did this in another video coming soon. It's the next day, and it's time to smoke and cook these delicious shotgun shells. But before we head out to the grill, let's make up our barbecue sauce. Now, as you can see here, I've got some organic ketchup, which you can use for a base, but I've decided I'm going to go even a little bit more scratch made. I'm going to use some tomato paste and vinegar and make my own tomato base, if you will. So put up the ingredients list for that, and I'll put it down below. And then we're just going to use that to start our barbecue sauce. So we'll start with a half of a cup of whatever tomato base or ketchup you want to use. And to that we'll add a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. Then we'll add a quarter cup of honey. And finally, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, or however it's pronounced, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. And then we mix all the ingredients together thoroughly. And there is our barbecue mopping sauce, if you will. Now I'm also going to mix up a 50-50 mix of apple cider vinegar and filtered water for the spritz bottle. And this will be used to keep the shells moist during the cooking stage while they're on the grill. So I'm placing the shotgun shells on the grill, and I will be then, once I get them all laid out, I'll sprinkle on a mix of salt, pepper, cayenne, and garlic powder as a bit of a rub just to get these started. And I'll be keeping them at between 250 and 300 degrees for the next hour as the smoke from our smoke generator pours into the grill. Now, unfortunately, I lost some footage of the actual cooking after I got it all set up. But the method was simple. You leave it on the grill with the top closed, and then every 15 minutes just open the top and spritz with the vinegar mixture, just to make sure everything stays moist, and then close it back up. And then after the hour is over, I glaze the shells with the barbecue sauce we made and turn the heat down a little bit. Let them sit for another 15 minutes. I glazed them a couple of times. And here are the results. Oh my, soft, yet with just enough of a chewy texture. Spicy sausage and cheese mix on the inside, and of course that wonderful smokiness. Yeah, these are a success. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of Smoky Dave Presents. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you give the shotgun shells a try. They're really good. I do want to point out one thing, however. Because of how the smaller ones dried out, it occurred to me that we could add a little more moisture to the mix, but if we add too much, it won't work in a sausage grinder. It'll just kind of squirt out the end. You'd probably have to use like a frosting bag or something like that, or put it in a gallon bag and cut the tip off the end. So it would be possible to still do it that way. But I was thinking we could just take the noodles and blanch them for, say, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, just so they're gummy on the outside and the inside, but not so much where they break as soon as you try to put some sausage in it. So I think I'll try those ideas, but at any rate, the large ones came out perfect, and I highly recommend them. So until next time, don't forget, it's no joke, everything's better with smoke.